Hi, so in this chapter, we are going to look at the country that is India, and we'll focus on the size and location. India is one of the ancient civilizations in the world, and it has achieved multifaceted socio-economic progress during the last 5 decades. It's also moved forward, displaying remarkable progress in the field of agriculture, industry, technology, and overall economic development. India has also contributed significantly to the making of world history. So let's look at India's location. Now, India is a vast country. It lies entirely in the northern hemisphere, as is shown over here. So you have the equator. The equator divides the sort of Earth into two hemispheres, the northern and the southern, and India is in the northern hemisphere. Now, the mainland extends between the latitudes 8 degrees 4 minutes north and 37 degrees 6 minutes north. So this is the north direction, that is these two. And in terms of the longitudes, that is along this line, it extends to 68 degrees 7 minutes east to 97 degrees 25 minutes into the east. Now, the Tropic of Cancer, which you can see over here, kind of runs through the 23 degrees 30 minutes north, divides the country into almost two equal parts. And to the southeast and southwest of the mainland lie the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, somewhere here, which is not shown in this image over here. And in the and the Lakshadweep Islands in Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea, respectively. Now, you might want to look at the atlas and just explore a little bit more into a zoomed out version of the map around India. Now, let's look at the size. So the land mass of India has an area about 3.28 million square kilometers. That's quite huge. And India's total area accounts for about 2.4% of the total geographical area of the world. Now, if you think about this, India is about the seventh largest country of the world, and it has a boundary of about 15,200 kilometers. And the total length of the coastline of the mainland, including Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep Islands, is about 7,500 kilometers. To be precise, it's 7,516 kilometers or so. Now, India is bounded by the Youngfold Mountains in the northwest, north, and the northeast. South of about 22 degrees north latitude, it begins to taper and extends towards the Indian Ocean, dividing it into two seas, the Arabian Sea on the west and the Bay of Bengal in the east. So you can see this tapering effect of the land for the country here. Now, what you need to note is that the latitudinal and longitudinal extent of the mainland is about 30 degrees, both of the sides. Despite this fact, the east-west extent appears to be smaller than the north-south extent. It's just because of how this country is done. Now, from Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh, so Gujarat, this is Gujarat, and Arunachal Pradesh would be here somewhere, all the way towards the sort of end. There is a time lag of about 2 hours. So the time along the standard meridian of India is about 82 degrees 30 minutes east. And that is taken as the standard time for the whole country. The latitudinal extent influences the duration of the day and night as one moves from south to north. So this is an important thing to keep in mind. Now, if we look at India and its position across the world. So the Indian landmass has really a central location between the East and the West Asia, as you can see over in this picture. So India is the southward extension of the Asian continent. The trans-Indian ocean routes, which connect the countries of Europe in the West, as is kind of shown over here, and the countries of East Asia, they provide a strategic central location to India. Note that the Deccan Peninsula protrudes into the Indian Ocean. So this is what we call as the Deccan Peninsula, and thus helping India to establish close contact with West Asia, Africa, and Europe from the western coast, with Southeast and East Asia from the eastern coast. So both from the western, this is the western coast, as well as the eastern coast of the country. Now, no other country has such a long coastline on the Indian Ocean as India. And indeed, this is one of, this shows that India's eminent position in the Indian Ocean. And therefore, it just justifies the naming of an ocean after it. Now, India's contacts with the world have continued through the ages, but the relationships through the land routes are much older than the maritime context. Now here in this picture, you can see that all the routes that are in blue are all the sea routes, whereas all of these which are in sort of orange color, they are all the land routes. And these have been very, very old. The various passes across the mountains in the northern side of the country, they have provided passages to ancient travelers, while the oceans restricted such interaction for a long, long time. So these routes, these land routes, have contributed to the exchange of ideas and commodities since ancient times. Now, the ideas of the Upanishads, the Ramayana, the stories of Panchatantra, the Indian numerals, and the decimal system could actually reach many parts of the world because of all the exchanges that used to happen through these land routes. The spices, muslin, and other merchandise were also taken from India to different countries. Now, on the other hand, we also had influence from other countries. For example, the influence of the Greek sculpture and the architectural styles of the dome and the minarets from West Asia can also be seen in different parts of India. Now, if we look at India's neighbor, India really occupies a strategic position in the South Asia. So India has 28 states and 9 union territories. India shares its land boundaries with Pakistan and Afghanistan in the northwest, China, Tibet, Nepal, and Bhutan in the north, and Myanmar and Bangladesh here in the east. So our southern neighbors across the sea consist of 2 island countries, and it's not totally clear over here, but it's Sri Lanka and Maldives. Sri Lanka is, you can see this small here is the Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka is separated from India by a very narrow channel of sea formed by the Pak Strait and the Gulf of Mannar, while the Maldives Islands are situated to the south of the country. They are situated towards the south of the Lakshadweep Islands, which is here, right? Somewhere here. It's not clear again in this picture. Basically, you just need to go a little bit down to this here to show. So that's the south of that. Now, India has strong geographical as well as historical links with her neighbors. And you can look at the physical map of Asia in your atlas, or you may even go and search for Google Maps, and then study a little bit more of how India stands apart from the rest of the Asia. So that is it. This is a very quick summary of overall the size of India, its location, its different routes, and its connectivity to different places, different countries nearby through the ocean or through the land routes, and also the neighbors.